Hello, this is Father David. We are on day 34 of the Winter Pascha, the great blessing of water. This is something that is done in parish churches on the eve of the Feast of Theophany. So for us, that's January 5th. And it's usually done in parish practice. Oftentimes, in fuller practice, there'll be a Vesperal liturgy, just like Christmas, the day before, and the blessing of the water is done after that. We usually, and in parish practices, you normally see this done just after Vespers for the feast. So you'll have the Vespers the night before, on the evening of the 5th, and following that, you have usually the baptismal font, filled up with water, like if you were going to do a baptism, but even fuller, like almost to the top. And you have a ladle in it and everything, and we bless the water. There's very extensive prayers for the blessing of those waters, and we do this in conjunction with the Feast of Theophany. Now, on the day of Theophany, or as it happens here in San Antonio, the Sunday after this feast, if it happens to be on a Sunday, we do it that day. If it's any other day, the following Sunday, we meet at a local park where there's part of the waterways of San Antonio, and we bless the waters there. The Greek, the Romanian, the OCA, and the Antiochian parish here get together. We did last year. God knows what we'll do this year. The Rocor parish normally does not participate, not because of any kind of animosity, but they're on a different calendar, and so they will celebrate Theophany on civil calendar January 19th. And so all this that we're doing on the 5th and 6th, they'll do 13 days later. So sadly, I mean, this is a moment where we see a sort of difference of practice leading to not doing something together, but the practice is the same, just though we're not doing it at the same time. But in any case, we usually, Father Tom points out, the night before, it's the water is blessed in a receptacle in the church. The day of, or Sunday after, it's done outside in living water, running water. And so, this is the practice. And after that, by the way, this is the holy water in parishes that people can, take a sip of. We have a little font there with little cups, and you can, fill that up and take a sip. You can, although it's not as common in parish practice. I know some people at home, they'll take just a little bit every day, put it in a little saucer or something, and then dip their fingers, and then kind of is something that they've picked up from Roman Catholics. They bless themselves with the holy water. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not usually seen in parishes, but it's a perfectly wonderful way to bless yourself with the blessing of Jordan. And this is what we say happens, is that this is our participation in the blessing of the waters at the Jordan River. Now, this is, for Orthodox Christians, not only an affirmation. We're not only making some kind of statement, that God likes the physical world, or that we should, be good stewards and, be eco-friendly, go green. Orthodox Christians should do all of that, as I've said in one of these videos before, regardless of politics, regardless of what you think about carbon footprints, global warming, anything like that. Orthodox Christians should, if it is obvious that there is a way to take care of the environment, we should be in that corner. If our options for something is, does it destroy the environment or does it help preserve it, we always need to be over on the side of helping to, not even destroy it, but does it exploit it? Does it harm it? Is it difficult for the environment to recover? Any way that we can take care of the environment, we do. But the blessing of water is not primarily concerned with that, although it speaks to that. It is primarily concerned about the reality that God is renewing and in the process of renewing, and has the intention of renewing the entire universe, and not only human beings. And this can be what some people think, that, it's only human beings that God's interested in. The rest of the world we can just, exploit, and God will burn it up at the end of time anyway. But no, we understand that, God was the creator in the beginning. God, Father Thomas mentions how the Holy Spirit hovered over the face of the waters in Genesis and brought forth life out of the water first. It's kind of interesting that even in the creation account, you have you have life in the waters first, and then life on land. Now it's interesting. Saint Basil makes some pretty interesting conclusions off of that. But you have this sense where God was busy creating life out of the waters, and then life was created on land. And then, the very land itself was taken and formed into a man. And then, human beings were created. Well, and then you have Christ walking around, taking that same dirt out of the ground, spitting on it and forming clay and mud again, and refashioning the eyes of a blind man. Yeah. And so, you have this sense of, here's God again, taking the earth and making a full, whole human being again. It's the same thing with these waters, that, the water is the primordial element of life that Father Thomas mentions. In a twisting of human understanding of it, those waters were, like the sun or whatever else, taken to be a deity in and of themselves, so that there was a specific deity that resided in the waters that, led to storms and tsunamis and all of the destructive properties and the life-giving properties and everything. And as I said in a previous talk, in many of the icons of theophany, you have these water gods of the pagans in the icon, and Christ has them, under his feet. But really, more than anything else, more than simply showing himself over them as God, there is the sense that Christ is even here to redeem the water. Christ is here to bring an ability for water to participate even in the giving of grace to mankind, that even that can be transparent to the glory of God. And that he is looking to, sanctify all things, that all things are to be seen as sacred and beautiful and life-giving again. So, this, and I'm almost positive I've told this story, but in case I haven't, or in case you've forgotten, or in case this is one of your first, videos with this, doing this, a friend of mine, when I was becoming Orthodox, she didn't really quite get it, and I didn't, to be frank, didn't really. I kind of cringe at the way perhaps that I may have explained some things back then, because I was really trying to put it together myself. But I knew that it had more to do with nature, like human nature, like the nature of who I am as a person, and less, by no means unrelated, to have to do with my behavior. Of course, our behavior matters. Our morals matter. We shouldn't ever think that, well, God saves my human nature, but what I do with it, that's kind of inconsequential. No. But what we do, our behavior, always comes as a derivative of that. The important thing is God changes and fixes our nature. Our behavior, our actions are meant to flow from that. But that's a long process. It's a therapeutic process, truly. But what I told this young lady at the time, what is it that, you hope to get from Orthodoxy? And I go, well, we were all, it was a theater group, and we were on a theater retreat. And everybody was there kind of just kicking around the lakeside. And I just picked up a stone right by the shore. And I go, you see this stone? This stone, if I pitch it into the lake and I pitched it into the lake and plop, and it sank to the bottom. I said, that's exactly what a stone is supposed to do. If I throw that stone, it's going to do exactly what a stone was created to do. I want to be like that stone. I want to be able to do as a human being what a human being is meant to do according to his real nature. And that's, to me, what orthodoxy is. It is a restoration of the human being to his proper given nature. And everything else flows from that. But when we bless the waters, we are proclaiming that God is not only going to restore the nature of human beings, God is going to restore the nature of all creation. He's going to renew it. He's going to bring it back. And it begins now. It starts now. See? And so this is really where we find ourselves in the celebration of the great blessing of waters. So let us attend to that in the coming weeks here as we approach Christmas. But may God grant that we all look to our own nature, and just as we sanctify the nature of those waters, that we would continue to place ourselves before the face of Christ and beg him and plead with him and work with him, that our nature would also be renewed and changed. So God bless you. Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.